Hi, how are y'all doing? Thank you so much for taking time out of your day to come out. My name is Chelsie Evaldi. I'm the owner of Chuco Relic. I'm going to take you down memory lane with me as to how I got to from one location to three locations and now a warehouse. Um, I okay. So let's just start with our core values. The core values of Chuco Relic are culture, creativity, quality, community, activity. We Every time we have to make decisions, we come back to these values. We make sure that it aligns with this. Even when we hire people, we make sure that they align with our core values because we want the brand to stand for these 5 things. So some fun facts about me. I grew up in Claudex, but I crossed the border every day to go to school up to 8th grade. And then I attended, we finally moved to Paso in high school. They went to Burgess High School. I played soccer at Lake Marine University. And I got to travel. I was off the way for 10 years after I graduated college, and I got to travel here for 6 months when I moved back to El Paso. I'm a mom with 2 awesome kiddos, and my cousin was right over here. He's a firefighter. Then there. So in 2014, we purchased Mancho, and there I went with my son playing. And that's what we did a lot of the day because no one would come in. We had really low sales. Like we would be there, our hours were 10 to 6, and no one would come in. And it would just be like, what am I doing? I have a degree. I bought this store. No one's coming in. I just have like trimming my, which was cool, but I also was not making money. And he needs money to eat. So we bought the store in 2019. And the way this came about is my friend, I used to work at Visit El Paso. And my friend had started this business and she had it for about 8 months. It's called the Mancho. And Mancho means penguin in French. And so this was her logo. This was her business thing. And so we went to coach one day and she mentioned that she was going to sell it because she was going to be moving. And my husband was like, we should buy it. And I'm like, that's great. And it just stayed that way for a while. And then I told her, hey, let's go out to eat before you leave. We went out to eat. I go, actually, when I've been said I should find a business, I should have bought the business for me. And why did you tell me? I'm a business major. And my husband just thought like I would be good at it. I didn't think so. Because you all know, if you all have business majors, so many businesses fail. And I just had that. I had that percentage in my mind. Well, then she's like, hey, well, I wouldn't give you a good deal. And then 2 weeks later, she's like, hey, the deal, she was already at the process of selling it. And she's like, hey, it didn't go through. Do you want to do it? I will give you whatever they put down towards the purchase. And so we had saved the money, and then there was like, when it was like, yeah, do it. And he said that he just pushed me into it, which it did feel like that. And so when I had last and moved back to El Paso, I was on a drive on a mission to just promote El Paso. I didn't know how I was going to do that. So I knew that when buying a store, I was going to continue on that mission. And then coincidentally, this store was on downtown, and they used to have the farmers market on that same street every Sunday. So every Sunday I would go out and talk to the members and ask them if they would want to sell at my store. And some of them did. Then this was before people did that. Like now there's a lot of consignment, but it was before, so some trusted me and some were like, can't have my stuff. And I want to show you all another fun fact. In this picture, I actually in both of these pictures will be my kids because I was Amigo Man. That's supposed to be nuts. No, I was actually pregnant at Amigo Man. I was pregnant with my baby girl because I was super scared to quit my job that worked at Visit El Paso. And so I was like, we'll just be something. They're like, you could be a Miko Man. So I was like, sure, I'll take it. So I stayed on with Visit El Paso, and whenever they needed me to be a Miko Man, I was on it. And it coincidentally happened that I also was pregnant for a bit of it, like the 3 months. That's when I was like, okay, I can't anymore because it's so hot in there. But my son didn't know that was me. He loves Amigo Man so much, but that's him and me. And then my daughter, she was born in 2015, and I'll tell you more about that. But I wore her all the time that I was doing the business because she is obsessed with still. She loves me so much and she wants to be with me all the time. Like, she couldn't go with dad at all. It was just me, so I would just wear her all the time. For best friend. Definitely. So this is how we actually, well, I'm going to go back so I could tell you all about that. So when we transferred from Mancho to Chuco Relic, we did a little campaign. And this is what we created in 2016 when we transferred from Mancho to Chuco Relic. So it has music chip on it. It's in a plane. So that's what we did when the Deloitte Man show. I had a lot of people, and I was already promoting El Paso with that business name, and people were telling me, "Oh, I wanted to tell someone about your business, but I can't remember your name. I couldn't interest you as a penguin." Everybody loved the penguin, but they couldn't remember the name because they couldn't associate it to anything. And so when I started researching what can I change my name to, I Googled synonyms for souvenirs, and Ralph came up. And one thing that when I was at business school is that they talked about the "k" sound, how you should try to "k" sound into your business name because it makes it easier for people to remember your business. And so I was like, okay, maybe not at the beginning, but Relic, that sounds cool. And then at the time in 2016, no one was really using Chuco name Chuco. It was like Chuco Burgers was the only one. They're the original thing that started using Chuco. And that's us. And then in my head, I was like, I'm going to make it cool. And so when I would tell people about it, like, hey, I'm thinking about changing my name there. No, Chuco, like, isn't ghetto, isn't that? But, and it did put doubt in my mind. But I thought, no, there's something to it. Like, I'm going to make the word Chuco cool. I'm going to make it with the font, with the colors, like people are going to associate Chuco to something cool. And so also another fun fact is that where my husband and my kids' initials are CR as well. So my businesses and my kids and my husband all have the CR initial. So in 2019, we opened our central store. This was a really big jump for us because we were going from one store to two. And it was right after like 10, our rent was higher, it was scary. Like we didn't know if we were big enough to open another location. So we could have it was just faith that we went on really, because it's not like we did studies or anything else. Just like, hey, well, the opportunity came up, we want to grow, let's do it. And we actually had a really great turnout that day. And it wasn't the push that I needed. Like, okay, we are good enough to have two locations. And in this picture, it looks like we're having fun, but we actually fought that day. Carlos actually walked home. He was wearing chanclas. He walked home in chanclas because we were fighting about the space between these two. And I was telling him it's this much. And he's like, no, it's this much. And then he just left in his chanclas. It's part of being an entrepreneur. And then we made up once he got it. So on August 3rd, the tragedy of August 3rd, the Walmart shooting, we opened our location in July, and then in August, the tragedy happened. And we pretty much just halted everything that had to do with the store, and we started just selling El Paso straw shirts. And we ended up donating $50,000 to the victims of that tragedy. So that was also scary because we had just opened the store, and then I was like, yeah, but we have to be there for our community. We have to show up for them. And I think it's the hardest we've ever worked because we were making shirts all day, all night, and then showing up to the store and then selling the shirts because there was always mind. And we weren't making any money because we were donating it all. And so for me, I was like, I had to show up for my community if I want them to show up for me. That was my thing.
We're pretty sure it's still pretty boring.
Yeah.
Work.
Yeah, so he's a firefighter. So yeah, we print till 3 a.m. and we have a manual. And so it was like 300 shirts a day. And people were just like, you're only printing 300? And we're like, yes, that's the thing. Like all the time here. But yeah, that was a good time. And in the end, honestly, we still have customers from that event that they found out about it because of that. and that they continue to support us. Thank you. So that again in 2019, we opened our third location. It's condos, we storing the floors. And this was in October. So in July, we opened our central location. And this location, I had been wanting this location so bad. This is on the east side. And I kept asking the landlord, like, do you have space? Do you have space? Do you have space? And he didn't have anything, right? And then he calls me like June of 2019 and tells me, hey, I have a spot for you. And I'm like, oh my God, I just committed to this other location. I can't do it. And he's like, I'm going to save you for you. I'm going to save it for you. And I was like, what does that mean? I can't pay you. And he's like, no, I'm going to save, like, I know I love what you're doing. So I'm going to save it till if you're able to move in. It's like, can we do it by October? And so like, yeah, let's do it. So then by October, we moved into our east location. This is our team. And actually, Gabe is here. He's also part of our team. He's not putting him on the spot. This is just some of our team. We're actually a group of 16. This is our 915 day celebration. And something with the team that is important to me, in that I can't offer what Target pays because I'm not as big as them, right? But something that when they come to me, I let them know. I tell them, okay, well, what's something that you're working on? Are you working on business? Are you working on social media? What are you working in your career that I can help you with? And sometimes it's not something that I can help them with, but maybe it's the hours. I will always work with their hours. I value their time. And so whenever any days off they ask, I give it to them. We don't have any drama, which is beautiful. Like sometimes when I hear friends' dramas, I'm like, wow, like we don't have that in our team. I think since our core values are so important and we hire based on that, everybody just aligns together. And this is our recent move. We actually bought a 300 square foot warehouse where we are increasing our production. So now we're creating all of our products. We print all of our t-shirts, mugs, magnets. So we're expanding on that end of things. And this is some of the products that we've made. So we worked with Borderland, which is a tequila company, which is the shirts that they had the fun. Stop for tea. We actually did these shirts for our friends in Mountain. You could buy with their gift shop. And we also have designers in-house. So we can also design their work and print it for them on anything that they like. These are other products we've made. We worked with Grizz and Iris to make mugs for them and buy-in. Dance team. So this is where we're expanding in the moment. We're working on getting wholesale accounts and creating more products for other brands and helping other brands grow as well. And this is what we sell in our store, in case some of y'all haven't been to our store. This is just some of the items that we sell there. Have y'all been to our store? Hasn't been. Okay. Now, I have any question. Okay. So we where we sell right now, first we sell at our field location, but we also sell at the airport at Visit Paso, which is the visitor center downtown. Caribbean, which is they handle the loquitos at the airport. We sell at Whole Foods, certain hotels, and we also go to market. You can also shop with us through our website. On social media, we have about 34,000 followers. On Facebook, we have 18,000. And like user terms, we have 20,000. So what I have a question about, is anyone here wanting to start a business? Okay. We'll give you all that. So if you haven't shopped with us before, you can scan the QR code and it'll take you to our website, and you can see the rest of the products that we have. The cuenta sangha. So I wanted to tell you also, if you're wanting to build a business, something that's super important that I feel a lot of businesses, especially small businesses, don't put importance to is with these large subscribers. We use Square. which most small businesses do. And on there, you have the option with the receipt to do a phone number or an email. And we make it's a requirement at our store. So when you go, they should ask you for it, that they get your phone number and email, because that information is really important for you to be able to grow. You already know those customers like your product because they've shopped with you. So with collecting that information, Square lets you keep it, and you can reach out to them. It charges you every time you send out a marketing thing, but the return is worth it. So that's something that I feel is really important. A little tip for everyone to just get that information when you're doing the receipt is collecting the phone numbers and the emails. And the photos. I would love to learn a little bit more about the process, like story of this business. Like if you were in any situation where you already have this storefront, and it wasn't producing income, but there was costs associated. So how did you think you way to grow and turn it into a process to the point that you were able to hire a team, like people to help? Yeah, so something, and everybody scales differently, and it was just the way that I did it. I didn't pull from the business for the first 5 years, so I wasn't paying myself. I felt like my time was more important than the money, so I had employees. So that's what I did. I was able to not pull from the business or pull very little from it. So like everything that I was making, I was returning back so I can continue to grow. And also, one thing that for me, especially because it's a creative business, I don't like the burden or debt. I feel like it takes away from my creativity. So I try to keep my debt low so I don't have to be worrying about, am I going to be able to pay this? Am I going to be able? So we're not super risky. We make sure that we have the business before we make the jump, except for actually for opening the 3 locations. We were really risky about that. But at the same time, I had savings because, again, I wasn't falling for the bit to it. Good question. What's your business? What do you do? Similar, very similar, but a little bit more cost cultural. Okay. But a similar concept. For me, I think a question I have is, do you design all of your products yourself, like the beginning design, create all of that? No, so I'm not a designer. Yeah. And that was actually one of my worries was how am I going to scale, or how am I going to create more products if I'm not a designer? And I also felt like a fraud in the beginning because I was promoting artists and I wasn't an artist. And people would ask me, like, are you an artist? I'm like, no. But artists need business people in their back pocket. So I'm the business person that helps them, grow their business. And so what I did in the beginning is I would hire a designer that would have the idea. So most of the time I have the concept and then I just tell designer what I'm thinking about and they create it for me. I did create some of the designs. I did that one. There's the one that says just the tip that I did that one too. So there's some that I did that I just got school of and learned how to do some Adobe. But I feel like now you don't even need you can just have a team to design. So you don't even need to learn a new system with how they use into it. Sorry, she was shipping their handbrake. Off the map for the start of their marketing. So I had $0 for marketing. And actually I wanted to share that story with they always ask me, like, what's the most typical story? And I want to kind of tell it without crying because every time I think about it, I think of my son. And so one of the difficult things for me, we really didn't have any money in the beginning. And so one time this guy dropped off shirt and I didn't have any money. And I was like, because I was purchasing product from him. And I was like, yeah, I'm going to send you the money right now. And I called Carlos, he's at work. And I was like, we don't have money. Like, we don't have any money in the account. And it's just like, I don't know what I'm going to do. And so I had my son. I took it with me to GCU. And I was like, cool, $10,000. And the good thing is I've always taken care of my credit. And so I had also paid off my college car, and I ended up getting a loan using my car as collateral, and it was $5,000, and that ended up helping me pay the shirts and then 2 months rent. But during that time, I was crying. I couldn't stop crying, and my son was in the back seat waiting to. It's because I remember this little thing. I need to tell a news story that doesn't make me cry. But he was just like, what's wrong on me? He saw how little he looked. And it just made me question, like, should I think that this owner was failing? Like, can I take this guy? And so, yeah, it was a really hard moment. And so, and your question was, this is how do you use 190 scale from there with the marketing. Okay, so again, at that top where we were. And so what I thought is like, what can I do within my hour? What can I do? And I had time. I mean, I had been my job, so I had time. So what I ended up doing is I would go to every single market. Every market, so I would be at the stores Monday to Thursday, the Friday, Saturday, Sunday, we're at market, and I can hire an employee to stay at the store, and I would be at the markets. And so for me, it was word of mouth. Like I can afford that. I can afford to be the one to be out there telling people about Chuco Relic. And it also is an awesome opportunity for me to hear what people wanted, because they were the ones telling me, oh, you should do this. Oh, I want this. Oh, I don't like black anymore. It's too hot, or the trends are this and that. So I would be able to take in the information that they were giving me. And I talk to everybody. I think sometimes people, there's businesses that sit up at market that they just sit and don't talk to anyone. But you should take it at a time as like a market research. Talk to the customer. What do they like? What don't they like? And they're honest. They don't even hold back from you. They're gonna tell you, oh, I had the guy once tell me, oh, this shirt looks cheap, and like throw it back at me, and I'm like, rude. But I never use that shirt again. You know, so like those things they're important to listen to.
Yes.
Gosh, I have two questions. At first, the newsletter, how we can like enter to have that of the newsletter subscribers. I never like heard of that. And my second question, I arrived a little bit late, so I wanted to ask you like how much years like the business have, and like when do you like take those risks? For example, I have my business to start like a few months ago, but right now I don't have a lot of money to take the risk. Go, okay, I want to do that. I want to take that risk, but I know I don't have the money, so I'm like, okay, I want to leave that time. So what is the time to know that I'm going to take that risk?
Yeah, I think there's sometimes calculated risk where you think, okay, I'm going to do it once I have this amount saved, and I can make that jump. But sometimes there's just risks that you can take, that you have to take, that like it's really instinctual. And if you don't take it, you can't sleep. And that's actually what happened with us in the warehouse. So I think one thing is, how bad do you want it, and are you willing to? You have to look at both sides and see if it doesn't work out, are you okay with living with that? And if it does work out, I mean, well, great, right? But see if on the opposite side, if it doesn't work out, are you okay with it not working out? And so with the warehouse, right? We had actually it was really run down, that warehouse, and I kept seeing it, driving by it, and I was like, I really want that warehouse. We need a building and we want it, and we've saved money and we can do it. And so I started moving forward with it. I got a realtor, all of that, and then I had mentors at the time, and they were like, no, just so the feel like it's things like it's too it's too run down, it's gonna be too much work. And then my husband had doubts on it too. And so I had actually, you're already like 7 days from closing, I pulled out because everybody kept telling me no. And I kept driving by that warehouse, and I was like, that warehouse is mine. It's mine. Like, it should be mine. I know it's mine. I understand people are going to have concerns even. I mean, even my husband that looks at me and wants the best for me, he was worried, you know? And I just had to be like, I'm going to do it. I'm going to buy it. It's something that I want. It's something that I know we need as a business. And some people are going to understand the risk. So if you're waiting for permission for someone to give you permission, it's not going to happen. Like, it really has to be instinctual, where you just say, I know these are the next steps, because when you have your own business, you're the only one that's going to understand it. You're the secret sauce. So sometimes you want to be understood by other people, but you won't have that if you won't be able to move forward if you're just waiting for that approval from someone. If it's sitting inside of you to do it, I say take that risk. Sorry. So you mentioned how you were a mom, but I also like to littles. How are you able to balance home life as a brand, well, I think had a brand new middleman. And also you said that you were struggling in the beginning. So how were you able to manage that? Yeah, you know what? There's no such thing as balancing. I would say actually that's one of my weaknesses. And it sounds bad, but like being a business owner with kids, a woman business owner with kids is a weakness. Because I'm the one that picks up my kids still. I do not miss any activities. I'm still very present. And they're older now. They're 13 and 10. So they're more dependent, but still, I'm still there. And so honestly, it really, I mean, I work to what is needing me the most at the time. So sometimes my kids are the one that needs me the most. And so I kind of step away from the business a bit, knowing that it's gonna be hurting, but I need to be present for my kids. And then sometimes my kids get it. Like they get what they're doing, they get life. They have these moments of enlightenment that they can do things by themselves. And I can step back into the business. And then sometimes, well, my husband, I'll just tell him, okay, I have, I'm going to stay working late today. I have a lot to do. And even then I have this guilt inside of me, like, I'm going to put him to bed. I didn't see him. I only stopped for 1 hour today. But it's a cost that you have, right? And I honestly, I feel like I could be doing so much more, but I also get to have 2 cute humans in their life, so it's worth it.
Yeah, and when we're like a certain age, such as how do you build out to define new terms or like what you want to see that as a given? Like, did you look for specific? It is family within this.
No, I didn't. I honestly, so this happened in 2016, and I wasn't knowledgeable on how I even worked for designers. So what I knew is that I need to be super specific. I had to, a lot of the times people say, it's this, but get creative, do what you want. But I knew that this was my vision, and this is what I wanted it to be, and so I had to get really specific about it. And so I'm sure he didn't like me because I was super detailed about, okay, I want the alligators to not look lean, but not be super happy. I don't want them to be a cartoon. I want them to be professional, but I also don't want it to look like the lacrosse logo. And so I want them to be unique. The colors, I got really specific on the colors that I wanted. So I think when you go into a designer getting to the local part, think about if you like their style, and then start thinking about what you want it to look like. So you're super specific about it, and then just translate your idea onto Facebook, because sometimes when you it works out sometimes that before we let them be creative, but then it's also you want it to be your mission that they're creating.
And I think it's like honestly in the first things to work is talking more out this and that. And I want to add quality your and balance for someone and stuff can
do it. And so what I'd say is start small. Start by registering your business. Get your register it with the state, your sales tax. Googling how to start your business in Texas, there's steps on there. Get your website going, and then make sure that I built the first website that we had. I built it on my own with YouTube. So you can do it on your own. Just have the time with YouTube to create everything. And then after that, like I said, markets. There's also so many online platforms that you can sell your product on. Like I have one of my employees that she just had first order on Fair, and she was super excited. So there's different platforms like Fair that you can also sell your product on.
Have you ever been spent and you say, how do you get out of the state or how is the fancy?
I can't think of a specific reason, but there will always be people that don't want the best for you or that are just mad because you're doing better than them. Always. I mean, these two make me so mad because I'm not doing anything to you. I don't even know you, or I do know you, but I haven't done anything to you. I've really learned that's just noise. You really have to, and it also takes your energy. As a business owner, you have to really protect who you're giving your energy to. you have so many things to do. There's always going to be another thing to do. And so when you do, if you do get scammed, I mean, really just put it out as a loss. I've had employees that have done bad transactions and they've lost like $1,000. And after listening to so many podcasts, I realized that there was the cost, it was a lesson that she learned, and the cost was $1,000. That's how I had to see it, because she's a great employee. It was a mistake. We all make them. And so it had to be like, okay, well, they learn. I know they're never going to do it again. And that lesson cost us $1,000.
You like it building on buying what's that stuff? It's the really short advantage.
So our business page is on Shopify, and most businesses that are retail do Shopify. What business do you have?
Hey, we're like big, but it's so I give you how many maybe on.
Okay. Well, still, I mean, actually, if you're wanting to keep local, a lot of bakers use Square because you can do a really quick site through Square, and it could keep all your sales there. So when you go to markets, your sales are on there too. And it's actually really easy that you can just add pictures, put variations on it. But again, just have tied to Square. Square will walk you through all of it. It's going to take you a couple hours, 12 hours. It takes a while. But once you learn it, you don't have to pay anyone to do stuff for you. And that was one thing that I learned that I say for myself is that since I was the one in the store, since I was the one that created the website, I don't need to pay someone to help me with certain things because I already know how to do it.
In terms of expansion, how did you figure out when it was time to like expanding the designs or phases to sell the product? How did you figure that out? Like,
I don't know. There wasn't a calculation, but I always want to be growing. So there's not like, okay, that was the time. I think if you have the capacity, if you know that you still have time within your schedule, then you have the capacity to grow. So for example, right now we're working on growing our wholesale items. And so I've actually hired a land officer over there because like I mentioned to y'all, I'm a mom and my time is limited. And so I knew that I couldn't do it. So I couldn't be the one to make all the calls, do all those things. And so I knew that I had to hire out. And so now I'm big enough that I can hire out to that point. But if you have time to do it, then you're able to scale.
Yes.
when starting a business or maintaining a business, you face speaking your idea.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, again, it would make me so mad. That would be like, make your own ideas, like make your own, go find someone else's ideas. But you know what? And people would tell me, could they say something flattering? Imitation is flattery. Like, I don't want to be flattering. Like, I don't need to be flattered. Leave me alone. But now, honestly, and people have said this to me, but it doesn't make sense until you realize it. But I'm a secret sauce. Like, you all can try to copy me and make your own Chuco Relic, but you're not me. And you'll make another version of it, and it might work for you because it's you. You're the secret sauce to your business. And so there have been people that have literally taken the sayings from us or have made it exactly the same, but changed the words. And before I really would get upset about it, and now I'm just like, oh, that's cute. Like, I'm so better. Honestly, that's what excited. Like, you just have to talk yourself down from it, let them, and like that book, let them. Think about your energy. Are they worth my energy? I ask myself that a lot. When someone or something upsets me, I think, is it worth my energy? And a lot of the times it's not. And I just book a meeting with my therapist and I talk to her about it. Or let's talk to Carlos.
Hey, bye.
Anybody else?
I do have a question. Chelsie, you mentioned that you were a business maker when you first started.
Yes.
But when was your timeline when you said, okay, this is the idea that I have, I'm gonna move forward?
Honestly, I didn't have, I knew there was just different things that happened, right? So I left El Paso, I grew in love with El Paso. So I moved back knowing that I was in El Paso. And then my husband forcing me to start the business, like telling me like, you need to do it. You can do it. You're able to do it. And so there was a lot of, I still don't even feel like I've made it because I have other goals that I'm trying to get to that I think that's something that a lot of business owners will feel is that they don't feel like they've made it because the goal changes. Before each store, the goal has changed to the warehouse, and then like out the warehouse, now the goal has changed to something else. And so I think there's going to be several moments that the world is going to tell you you're on the right path. Like the central store will be open and everybody's showing up. And I was like, how did they find out? Like, what did I do right that they found out? And I did everything. I put it on social media. I put it on Facebook. I put it on Fiftham. I put it on everything. And so one of it hit, right? And so there's these moments that will let you know, like, yes, keep going. But again, for a whole year, all of 2014, I didn't have any customers. So I had to keep showing up for a full year for my dream for it to eventually work out. And I think that's the part that a lot of people, that's where a lot of people quit, you know? And for me, I just couldn't quit. Like quitting was, I just couldn't, I don't like to quit. And so I just kept showing up, even if no one was showing up for me because no one was showing up at the store and going to the markets, a ton of people about it and just really committing to my dream. There was another time that we're at zero and rent was going to be due. And we went to, it was at the end of those West Coast market and we needed to make $800. And so we go to this market and we literally made 801. And my husband and I were like, yeah, like we did it. We can do another month, we survive another month. And like, those are the moments that I'm like, okay, keep going. Like, keep showing up because you need those hard parts because it really never gets easier. There's like peaks and then it goes back down where you're struggling again.
Yeah. Chelsie, I know like your product. Thanks for Christmas talk to my family mom, like static shirts, you know. Oh, nice and don't they look on feet. But I wanted tomorrow to ask of your team. Because that has shit very good things partner with the fall. But I feel like at this point, I think that's the running and I feel like you need more how people got that.
I think especially when you're starting off, you just have to be willing to not make any money at the very beginning because if you're gonna hire someone, so Andy, who's actually still with me, he is my first employee. I was literally working for him because anything that I was making, I was paying him, you know, and that really hurt. Like, that would be like, I'm doing all this work and I just pay him. Like, and one, I got a really great, like, Andy, he was a really great employee and he's still with me. He's been with me since the very beginning. And something that was important when I hired him was, so that was very transparent with him. Clarity is key, you know, just letting them know, hey, we're at this stage, this is how much I'm going to need of you, this is how much we're going to be doing, and also letting them know that it's going to shift because things shit. I feel like now this younger generation doesn't love the shit too much or doesn't understand that shit's come, so it's even more important to be even more clear with them and explain to them things and have that communication with them. Because you know what, I really appreciate that of them because they're like, I'm not going to do it unless you tell me. And so for me, it makes me think, okay, I need to tell them everything. So I need to make sure I'm very clear and all the expectations are all the things that I have to do.
Another question, Chelsie. So you talk about growth and investments and risk. Was there ever a moment one of your opening in the store when you were like, if I'm ever to know stuff investment like this, like, I'm going to buy more. Did you ever set deadlines for cash or that risk that we just took? Or was that not an option?
Yes. So we actually went to high school together. We played soccer together. We go way back. Actually, that's my situation right now. I have a goal that I'm trying to reach, and I'm really am at the moment of like, okay, world, like, is this my aim? Is this where I'm supposed to be going? Am I gonna reach this goal, or where is this where I, as far as I go, and I get to turn it to do something else? So I am there right now where I have set a goal for myself, and I'm trying to reach it. And if y'all listen to how I built this, there's always this question about how much of your business is luck. And there is an aspect of luck to it. Like, I'm going to put all this work. I'm going to do everything I can. I'm going to do all the groundwork for it. But you do need this aspect of luck that the world meets you at to get you to that part. And so, and I feel like and if it doesn't meet me, like, that's my side. Like, yeah, like you got to where you needed to go. No, move to a new direction, and I think that's something that I'm trying to, the world is teaching me, specifically right now, because I'm learning. I'm doing wholesale part, so that's a new part of my business, and I'm trying to expand that. And sometimes I think it's like, okay, I'm trying to go this direction, and if maybe I'm supposed to be going another direction, because if it doesn't grow the way I want it, I have to be open to maybe getting pushed in the other way. I'm very woo-woo in that I'm very like, I try to be, okay, these are the risks, these are the things, but also, does it feel right? My instincts are my superpowers. Women, your instincts are your superpowers. I'm sorry, guys, I don't know how, if they all are the same, but like, I feel like we get taught sometimes that not to listen to them, or crazy, or we feel a certain way, and we like, me, I feel this, and then people will be like, yeah, that's weird. No, it's there for a reason. Like, those instincts are your superpowers. And so I really go based on that. Or have I done all the work? I ask myself that all the time. Did I give 110? And not until I give 110 do I allow myself to praise. And if I think that there's still more room, then I will try a little bit more. But if I really feel like I've done it all and there's still no growth, then that's the sign that I'm beating my head on the wall. They did not punch. My question. I had a thing for y'all, but I don't know if I'm tired. I don't know. Yeah, okay. So I wanted to, for those that are building your brands, this is something that I feel is really important that a lot of brands don't do, and that I learned from listening to podcasts, reading books and stuff, is creating a brand style sheet, because it just makes you professionals. When you are posting your brand and your logo in 100 colors, it's like, who likes this? Is this the same person? Is this another brand? So I wanted y'all to work, or we can all do it just in online too. This is our brand styling sheet, and I think if you have a small business, you should create one for yourself. And it starts with the core values. So we talked about that. And those are super important, because you're going to have to make decisions, and you can go back to that and think, okay, do they fall with my core values? Is this something that, like, for example, you're making decisions right now with your business. When you have core values, you go back to that and you say, does it align? Because your core values are yourself and your business. They're together. So I wanted y'all to think about it. This will be an opportunity for you guys to think about what your core values are. Think about 3 of your own core values. And then, Kara, I'm going to give you an example of core values. And he's hang out with that. And I really suggest that you write those down and you keep those with you. Even when you're making decisions outside of your business, that you come back to that. Sometimes it's hard to make decisions, right? To like, is this right or is this wrong? Like how you were saying, like, should I take this week? Should I not? And if you go back and you check on it with your core values, it might help you. Because sometimes you think there's a good deal, but the person doesn't feel right. Like there's something about this person. Maybe just an example, maybe that they get drunk on the weekend and they cheat on their wife. And that's not a core value for you, right? And so you're like, but they're still such great business owners. Like they're making a bunch of money and they're going to help you make a bunch of money. does it go with your core values though? You know, and for me, that's really important. I want to do business with people that have integrity, that think their community is important. So it goes back to that. And so now I want you to think of a color palette. This is really easy, and a lot of students don't do it. So as you can see, this is our color palette. And if you noticed in my presentation, I stuck to my color palette and I stuck to my font. So whenever you see that font, you know that it's Chuco Relic. So what's new is actually we can do it bold or that double, but it's still a variation of it. We keep everything the same because we want, whenever you see this font, we want you to think Chuco Relic.
Yeah.
Whenever you see these colors, we want you to think Chuco Relic. Our stores that cover that, everything we try to keep within this color. So we don't make you think about our brand. You just right away see colors, you see alligator, then you think Chuco Relic. You don't have to read it. And that's where you can start off by making a strong brand with, and I mean, not the logo is super important too, but you can also start here. That's all. So thank you so much for sharing this inspirational story. And I said you will take up like a lot of takeaways that Chelsie mentioned. But I too want to say that thank you for sharing your story and making us all know how the love story can be trained sustainable to just thank you. And you can follow me. My Instagram is Chuco Chingona. But I don't always post specifically. I feel like I can support people because I don't post my kid stuff. I post a little bit of everything. But yeah, if you want to follow me, and that's Chuco Relic, but my personal one is Chuco Tuluk. And if you want to message me, if you have any questions, I'm really happy to answer them, or if you just need advice somewhere, that I'd be happy to help you all out. Wonderful. Thank you.